We call this our 7 movements pain-free movement experience. So in this experience, we want to hopefully have you feel a little bit better than you did when we started today. So that's our goal for the whole entirety of this program today. Expectations are, as you move, all you have to do is mirror me. So you just have to mirror the speed at which I'm moving and the direction in which I'm moving and the distance in which I move. If you feel you want to expand and move your bubble beyond that, bubble means if you want to step a little bit further, if you want to go a little bit deeper, if you want to go a little bit, change directions, feel free to do that. But the whole entire idea behind this is that we all move together at about the same pace. And hopefully we all feel a little bit better. So that being said, the first 7-minute little microdose that we're going to do is about mobility for the hips and the pelvis. So the first one we're going to do, I'm just going to start my clock here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with what we call a little rub and scrub. So before we do that, even let's just do a little bit of a squat and see what that feels like. So you're just going to go up and down, get a sense of what that feels like in the hips, maybe in the lower back, maybe in the knees. And we're going to see what that motion feels like, okay? So take a little inventory, a little self-awareness to how you're doing today. And then we're going to hopefully make that feel a little bit better. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a rub and scrub. You're going to take your knuckles and we're going to rub them up and down your lower back. So the intent behind this is just to drive some fluid to the lower back on these really important anchor points where all this connective tissue comes and attaches to the bones. Actually, it attaches to the connective tissues of the bones if you want to be specific. We're just going to rake up and down on the lower back here first. Okay, and then I'm going to go across the lumbar spine. Across it. And just for fun, let's go ahead and try that squat and see what that feels like. You might find that, oh, my body's self-organized and I feel like I'm squatting maybe a little bit straighter, or I'm squatting in a way that feels like I got some better motion in my lower back and in my hips. Okay, next what we're going to go to is to the outside of the hip. So we're going to rub and scrub on this little knob that's just on the outside of the hip. If you slide your fingers down, you feel, oh, there's a little protuberance. Fun word of the day, protuberance. You're going to go straight up and down on that knob, scrubby it. This is a massive anchor point for the muscles on the side of the thigh. And the connective tissue called the IT band runs across it and anchors to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and try your squat again. Ooh, that feels nice. That feels so much better. For me, it does. Hope it does for you. Okay, now let's go to the bones right on the front of the hip. And we're going to rub and scrub right there. So you'll feel these knobs for us guys. They're pointing kind of straight forward. For the ladies, they're out there just a little bit. So just palpate till you find that little bone on the front of the hips. Scrub that bit. What's kind of cool is the 3 spots that we've been rubbing and scrubbing are anchor points for the IT band, that big, dense connective tissue that attaches the lower leg to the upper pelvis. Okay, and let's try a little squat. Oh yeah, I'm getting like I'm moving a lot smoother now. Okay, so we've done that one. So we've done a little bit of rub and scrub. Let's mobilize the pelvis now. So a mobilizer, by definition, is a slow, subtle motion. It's rhythmical in nature, but it's slow. We don't need to take this very far. So we're going to put your hands on your hips. Feet will be about shoulder width apart. I just want you to slide your hips left to right. Left to right. And pay attention to what happens when I move my hips to the left. You'll probably feel like, oh, one foot's flattening out while the other one's rounding up a little bit. We're getting a little bit of space underneath one foot while the other foot collapses. That's normal. This is how we're integrating motion at the hips with motion at the feet. Okay, so now let's try just a slow, subtle rotation now. And if you pay particular attention, you'll notice that when I rotate in one direction, one femur, so the thigh bone, is rotating in, while the other one is rotating out. Kind of cool. Okay. Now we're going to do a mobilizer for the posterior part. You're going to hinge your pelvis back, then hinge it forward. Just back and forth. Slow pace. Real subtle. Tilting it back and front. And you'll probably notice that when your hips go back, you feel a bit of a stretching feeling on the posterior side of the body, in the glutes and in the hamstrings. When your hips go forward, you'll feel like a little bit of a stretch in the abdominal wall in the front of the hips, maybe, depending on how far you take it and how flexible you are. Okay, so let's put one foot further forward than the other. Probably can't see my feet. There we go, I'll back up a bit. So you're gonna have 1 foot further forward than the other. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna repeat that same pattern. So by the nature of me staggering my stance, what that does is that decouples the pelvis. What we mean by that is I got one pelvis rotated forward just a little bit more than the other. And that creates a little bit of space at the lumbar spine. Gives a little bit of more freedom of motion. So if you're someone that suffers from low back pain, being in this stance is kind of like a little cheat code. You can do all these motions, but if you're in this stance, you'll feel that you have a little bit better motion going side to side, and you won't quite feel as blocked. Let's rotate now. Rotate. And you're going to get a different sense of what goes on at the knee and the ankle here. You'll see as I rotate this way, my knee's collapsing in, rotating, and diving down and in. That's a good thing, because now we're mobilizing the foot, the ankle, and the knee at the same time. Let's go to the other side. Boom. So we started with a symmetrical stance. Now we're starting to play with an asymmetrical stance. Okay, and we're going to go other foot forward and then work on that hinge. So you'll probably feel like there's a little bit more emphasis on the front leg as you hinge your hips back, as when your feet were symmetrical. Okay, let's switch to the other side. Same thing, slow and subtle. Emphasis on the pelvis, moving you forwards and backwards. All right, now here's the big reveal. Let's try our squat again and see how that feels. And I feel like I've got more motion and I can move up and down a little bit more freely because my hips feel like I've got better motion at them. I feel more symmetrical in nature, okay? So that's our first microdose. Now we're gonna build on some integrated motion for the hips and pelvis. So we mobilized it. Now let's add a little bit of motion in a multi-directional way. The first one we're gonna do is we try to squat. Let's try a lunge. A lunge by definition is we're gonna step and we're gonna return. You're gonna step and you're gonna return, okay? Step and return, step and return. This is what we call an alternating anterior, meaning forward, anterior or forward lunge. So just go with me, nice and easy here. We can swing the opposite hand forward as you step forward, as would show up in our normal walking stride. Maybe aim for your nose to lead over top of your foot, rather than staying straight up and down and centered. Shift your weight onto your lead leg. Okay. Now let's explore a different direction. Same lunging motion. We're going to go straight sideways. So to your 3 o'clock or your 9 o'clock. Step. 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 And again, I'm going to try and take my head, bring it a little bit closer to my footprint. Arms swing in opposition. Okay, so you can see I'm not really changing a lot of my vertical height. A little bit. If I want to get really down there, then there's a greater demand on those muscles, the joints, and the connective tissue. We're just stepping here. Just a little small one. Sometimes when we're in pain, the nervous system, the brain doesn't want us to move too much. So we're just going to step side to side. Fantastic. Okay, so let's try a different direction. We're going to step as though we're going to 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So your left foot, I guess to you guys, it's your right foot, is going to go to the 4 o'clock position. And step open, step back. So my toe is kind of pointing as though where that 4 would be on the clock. I'm just going to step back. Instead of alternating this time, we'll do one side, as you've already figured out. Again, same thing. Head's going to go over top of that foot, maintaining length in the spine, width in the shoulders, and just step and return. Okay, and we're going to try the other side now. This time your right foot is going towards 4 o'clock position. I had my clocks backwards. I said your right foot going to 4 o'clock would be doing the other way, or your left foot going to 4 o'clock. I've been on the digital clock system too long. Don't even know how clocks work in a mirrored environment. There we go. Couple more. Nice and smooth. There we go. So there's a couple directional lunges. Now we're going to add some hands into the game. So we're going to go forward this time. So this time I'm going to get you to reach your hands to the sky every time you step forward. So we'll go the same foot is going to kind of pivot on this leg. Go ahead and step back. Step forward. Boom. Try to reach and get as tall as you can through the body. Step back. Reach and get tall. Okay, let's do the other leg. Going forward. Step and reach. Step and reach. Step and reach. Someone's throwing you a ball, you got to reach up and catch it. Reach up and catch it. Reach up and catch it. Okay, let's try a sideways step. This time, we're going to take the opposite side arm and reach it overhead. We're going to add a little bit of a side bend this time. So as I step to the right, I'm going to reach my opposite hand over my ear. There you go. I'm going to dip my shoulder like I'm pouring water out of my opposite shoulder. It's pouring down towards the ground. Okay. Down towards the ground. Doesn't mean it has to be directly over the ground, but just shift your head over your footprint. Reach and tickle the clouds above you. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. Step, reach. Reach. Very good. And the last one we're going to do is we're going to add that step and return, but we're going to sweep the air. Kind of like little Tai Chi, and this time we're going to alternate. So we're just going to step, swing those arms, turn the shoulders. Turn the shoulders. This is one of my favorite energy building exercises. This feels great. Kind of flow. Get some steps in. Some lunges. Just let the whole body move together. Be water, as Bruce Lee would say. Made up of water. You may as well be and act like water. Go. One more time. And boom. Little movement sequence for you. Let's go ahead and try that squat again. And you should feel like, all right, everything around my lower back and hips starts to feel really, really nice. How'd you guys feel? Did you feel like that improved the quality of your motion? You feel a little bit better? Do you feel like your tissues feel like a little bit looser? Do you feel like you have the ability to maybe go for a walk now that you've done some of those strategies to unglue maybe these sticky spots that we get from sitting for long periods of time? Maybe you're watching 4 hours of the Oscars like I was last night. What'd you all get up into last night?
Awesome, John. I'm monitoring the chat on YouTube and Zoom, so keep it coming. I'm kind of flipping back and forth, so if you've been on Zoom in the chat, I haven't looked there yet. So we got a bunch of questions coming from YouTube, John.
Love it.
One's coming from Susan, and she says when she reaches up, her back tends to feel really tight and sore. Is there anything she can do when she's doing that? Because I think she's referring to maybe the last exercise that you did. Yeah, like where
This
you
one
reach
here?
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that one jams some people up. So go particularly right to the spot where you feel stuck, and we're going to do a couple things. One, we're going to start with just a pluck. So a pluck is you're going to grab the skin around that area, and I just want you to take it like you have a feather and just pull that skin away from that spot. Okay, so we'd say maybe if I go to the side and I reach up, oh, I'm kind of jammed here, or I'm jammed back here, I'm just going to grab that skin and just pluck it. So the first thing, sometimes the skin itself gets welded at the different layers of the connective tissue, and we just need to create a little bit of freedom from that. So that's one thing we could do. The other thing we could do is we could rub and scrub the bones around that area. So I can get into the rib cage with the hands. So that will free up these bones to want to move, because remember, as we move, other bones are moving with the body. So we could rub and scrub in that particular area, right? And if that doesn't work, what we're going to do is we're going to change how you reach and the direction into which you reach. So what I might do is that region of the lower back, when we're here, it doesn't really like to side flex too much. So what I might do is I might step and rotate and reach instead. Step and rotate and reach. So I'm going to ask for other contributors in the body to help with the rhythm and timing of that motion. So we would now start to explore, well, where could I move where I don't feel stuck or jammed up? And then I come back to that one that you did before where you felt, oh, I'm kind of sticky here, and see if any of those three strategies improve that. So remember, motion generally improves as we apply it, but sometimes when I get stuck there, the nervous system says, don't do that, and unless it's a pain response. So your tissues don't hurt, your brain says, I don't really like that, there's something going on here. So you have to try some strategies and then come back to it and let the nervous system know that you're safe to continue.
Awesome. Awesome. We've got another question here from Jazz, which this is a really cool question. Jazz says she is 87 years old and moving with us. How far should she push herself is her question. And I think she's probably asking, probably by herself and wondering like, how does she stay in her movement bubble safely?
Great. So Dan refers to the movement bubble. What we mean by that is our three-dimensional bubble or our sphere of function. So let's define 3D. 3D is the direction you're headed in. So that's D number one. So 3D, there's three of them. So direction, there's depth, like how far do I travel in the vertical plane of motion, right? So in my verticality, how high and how low do I go? And then the third part to round out that sphere is distance. How far do I move in my motion, right? So if we use the lunge for an example, this is a forward lunge. This is a sideways lunge. This is kind of diagonal lunge, right? It's a little bit of forward and a little bit of sideways, but it's kind of over here. Those are all three different directions, okay? Then if I think vertical, the further I travel, or the higher I travel, or the lower I travel, the greater demand of your bubble. So that means my bubble needs to be pretty high from top to bottom. And then how far do I step? So is it just a little step? Or is it a really big step where I'm traveling really, really far? The answer to the question is you stay within your bubble, which means your rhythm and timing doesn't change. It's symmetrical from your left side. I can step the same distance as I can my right side. And then as we get going and you stay consistent with applying these 7 movement sessions, you can start to expand your bubble a little bit. So when we are mobilizing and just trying to improve space at a joint, we don't have to take it to end range of motion right away. We can slowly just start building it out. When we start integrating movement, i.e. squatting, lunging, reaching, doing combinations of a whole bunch of different movements, we start small and then progressively we increase our bubble, provided I'm still moving with good rhythm and timing, I'm still moving with good coordination, and I'm symmetrical from my left to my right. And that might mean even what directions. Like if I'm stepping here, oh, I'm pretty good here. Oh, can't really step so far. Then I shrink my bubble to meet where my smallest step was. And then as we get going, what will happen is the nervous system will determine through all these communicators in the body what is safe for you in that moment. And that can change from day to day. But hopefully, the more consistent you are in the approach of it, you will now start to find that, oh, my bubble is growing. That's when we start to expand your bubble and still stick with my 3 rules, which is rhythm and timing, coordination, and symmetry.
Awesome. Awesome. We've got Dale at YouTube saying that, he's type 2 diabetic. Are there any considerations that he should have when doing these movement snacks?
The biggest part is obviously regulating your blood sugar. So we would start really slow and then see how your body is responding to the exercise. If we start to move too fast too soon and we get a change in your blood sugar, that's not a great thing right off the bat. So really it's completely dependent on you and for you to measure that and watch that and make sure that these snacks are at the capacity that your body can tolerate in that given time.
Perfect. And Dale followed up with how often should he be doing these movements throughout the day?
Yeah, so what we try to prescribe for people is we try to get them to do smaller doses more frequently throughout the day. So if you jumped on this call today and followed along with me, you've already done what we consider like 14 of our little micro doses. You could do them in 60-second segments, or you could do them in 7-minute segments. If you're doing them in 7-minute segments, I would say do them maybe 2 times a few times throughout the day. If you could tolerate today's 12 minutes in a row, or 14 minutes in a row, pardon me, then you could probably maybe do it one other time today, see how that goes for a week or 2, and then slowly add some more doses in there along the way. As Dan and I like to say, like, you don't go to the pharmacist, they hand you a prescription bottle of pills and you take them all in one shot and then hope your virus goes away. So the trick is to slowly add doses over time. We call it a graded exposure. So we're just going to slowly add a little bit more frequently throughout the day until you get to the point where you're like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. I could maybe do like a mega dose of exercise, which might be, something that we might prescribe from a fitness perspective, which would be maybe 30 to 45 minutes to an hour in a row. But at this point in time, the snacks are designed just to get you up, get you moving, get you feeling really good. Because if you feel good, you'll start to move better. If you move better, you'll want to move more. And you want to move more often.
Awesome. One more question. This is a quick one, and then we can do our final movement snack there, John. So Kathy's just asking, she walks with a cane due to a knee replacement. So she's just wondering, she's asking, okay, is it okay that I do these movements with my cane, or is there something else that you would recommend?
Yeah, awesome. So you can use your cane. You could be close enough to a wall where you've got that extra little added stability for it. The most important thing is that you're taking those joints through their range of motion that you can tolerate on that given day. So for example, it might be up against, in this case, I could use maybe like a wall or my squat rack. So I've got something that I can hold here. And the cool part is if I'm reaching here or stepping and returning or stepping and I've got something here to help me, that's cool too. having a cane is a great idea because now it's another point of stability for you. So I'll grab a stick here. Won't quite look like a cane. But if I step forward, I could step forward, use that as another point of contact to help me not only stabilize, but also maybe even help me get out of that stance. And then I can start to determine, all right, do I step bigger with the cane, or do I go without the cane and step a little smaller and have a little bit more stability to have to overcome? So the progression that we usually use in movement therapy is use the device to help you gain confidence and to make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm moving a little bit better. And then as you start moving a little bit better with good rhythm and timing, we take that away and we shrink your bubble. And we add that element to it. And then we start to grow your bubble after that. So I think it's a great idea for you to keep it. And then just make sure that you are always striving after a knee replacement to keep moving that joint to try to get it to its full range of motion. Once you get through its full range of motion, then we start expressing movement over time in a small graded way in order to get you back to feeling like it is close to 100% of the motion that you have on your opposite leg that you didn't have repaired.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna get out of YouTube here for a second. Check. Okay, no, nothing in the chat from Zoom, John. So
Okay,
let's wrap up with 7 minutes of movement and then a little announcement at the end of the session.
great. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just a little bit of recovery now. So we've worked on creating some motion in the area. So now let's work on creating some extensibility and just restore some motion in and around the pelvis and hips. So we're going to go in that staggered stance, but we're going to explore with a little bit more length here. Okay, so again, find your bubble where you feel like you've got the most space, and you're going to put your hands on your hips. I just want you to take this trail leg, try to lengthen it a bit. So we're going to try to stretch out by me taking my opposite knee. I'm going to drive it forward. We're just going to hold this stance here. About 15 seconds. And then we're going to come off of it a little bit. Let's do it again. So I'm trying to get some length and extensibility in this back hip. Okay, and now if I want to add a little added touch to it, I'm going to take the same side, so my back leg behind me, that same side arm, I'm going to reach to the sky as I get here, and then we're going to take our chin, we're going to look up to the sky, and what you're going to feel is you're going to feel a little bit deeper stretch coming through your trunk and into this back hip. Okay, wiggle in and out of that. Bring your feet together. We're going to take this back leg, same idea. You're going to try and get a little bit of length on it. Don't worry about what that back foot looks like. Doesn't have to be here, doesn't have to be here. You just find a comfortable spot for it. You drive it into a little bit of extension, wherever's comfortable for you. And then we're going to hold. So you can play around a little bit. I'm going to go right about there. That feels good for me. And we're going to come off of it a bit. And again. Okay, let's add that hand. Reach up towards the sky. Very good. Wiggle your hips a little bit. Sometimes getting out of a deeper stretch doesn't really feel so good, so we're just going to wiggle it around a bit. Little march. Okay, and we're going to move into one that biases more the inside of the hips and pelvis. We're going to go shift my weight towards one leg and just hold that position there. If you wanted to have a chair in front of you, you're welcome to do that. You can hang on to the chair. You can hang on to your cane or a couple sticks, anything that you have in front of you. We're going to come up, we're going to go to the other side. You can lean your weight onto your lead leg, whatever makes you feel comfortable. This is really just about what are we doing to these tissues here to restore them. Restore them back to what should be a normal length. Let's go one more time each side. And then the other side. Good. Wiggle your feet back together. Little march. I like after doing some stretching or some lengthening of tissues, just to give them a little bit of a pump right after. Just drive some more fluid to that area. Remember, we want water to move in through our system, so we don't want it to be plastic. We want it to be extensible and elastic. Okay, so now we're going to go, we got to do a twisty one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to stagger your stance, maybe show it like this. And we're going to reach your hips back. You're going to feel this into the back of the hamstring. Just let your hands go down towards the ground. A little bit bend in the knee. And then come back up. And again. Come back up. One more time. Back up. Let's try the other leg. So back stays nice and straight, shoulders stay wide. So we get a nice stretch down into the muscle belly of the hamstring. One more time. I'll let my hands reach just a little bit more. Let the flexion in the spine occur here. If you like that one, or if you want to focus more on the hamstring, you just keep your back straight. If you want to feel that more into the lumbar spine, you go ahead and take those hands further around the shoulders, around the shoulder blades. Okay. All right, and then we got to do something for the side of the hips. So you're going to take one foot, just cross it either over top or one behind. And just reach up to the side. You should feel a bit of a stretch on the outside of the back and the outside of the thigh. It's a nice, easy one here. Okay, and we're going to go to the other side. Reach. Do one more time this side. Stuff. Put your hands behind your back. We'll just do a nice slow rotation of the spine. Those hips move with it. Good. Take your hands. Alternate swing overhead. Your body turn a little bit with it. Good. And then swing the hands through and up. Again, we do a little bit of static work. And then we want to be elastic again. There we go. There was your pain-free movement live lab. I hope you guys really enjoyed that one. Dan, was there anything you wanted to add to it?
No, maybe just let the people know a little bit about being able to apply this consistently over the course of the week when they're not with you.
Yeah, great question. So what we want to do, folks, is we want to try to apply this little dose of what I showed you here today. Part of this is just learning this experience. It was a lot. You're probably drinking from the fire hose today. There was lots to get in there. But what we want to try and do is have you do this more frequently throughout the days and more frequently throughout the week. So you can start to practice some of these skills we learned today. Even though I was taking you through movements that make you feel good, we're actually uploading information into your motor systems to teach you how to move so that you have these movement skills for life. As we get going on doing this frequently throughout the year, hopefully you're following along and doing this daily so that we build out your motor skill programming, which means I start to make you be able to move in all directions, distances, and depths with a really big bubble so you can enjoy the things that you really love in life. And if we do this throughout the week, you'll get closer to that goal. Now we have lots of different classes that we have available. If you're someone who is of the senior population and you want to join our falls prevention program or even our yoga program, you can go to 7movements.com and sign up for those live labs. So this one's always going to be free. And then we have some other ones that you can sign up for and get access to. So you can join Melissa and you can join, who else do we got?
Jeff.
Jeff, and that's what we have right now, right?
Yeah, Jeff and Melissa.
Jeff and Melissa. And so that's what we have scheduled right now. And then this inventory that we have available in the microdosing live labs is going to grow as we start building out more classes.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you want, you can go to 7movements.com. We have all kinds of programs available for you that if you want specific help with, we have specific programs designed from people that with Parkinson's. We have a Parkinson's program. So if you know of somebody who has Parkinson's that needs to want to move a little bit better and needs some skills to help them get them through their day, then we have a program specifically designed in this microdosing format for them. We have pickleball programs. We have tool-specific programs, like for this Viper Pro, this crazy device right here that looks like a tube with handles, or it is a tube with handles. We've got programs like that on there. So go ahead, go to our website, browse around, see what you like. If there's some programs that you really wish you had, wish that we had for you, let us know and we'll build some.
Yep. Thanks, John. So essentially, everyone, there's a couple of ways to join us and continue your journey. Well, actually, there's 3 ways. One, you can always join John for Pain-Free Movement Monday. It's always going to be free. Just register for this session on 7movements.com. You can get an all-access pass to our library. That's got all the programs that John just talked about on there. That's fantastic. And then there's a membership to our studio, and that's with all of our other coaches live, such as Jeff and Melissa. So check us out. If you have any questions, hit us up, and we will see you, John, next Monday.
All right. See you, everybody.
All right. Take care.